Hello and welcome to another Demitone tutorial. This is another video that expands on the idea of the I Feel Wonderful track that I did an 8-part series on. I've been asked a question about the melody composition and just kind of how I approached it and the reasons why I did certain things. So we're going to go back to the beginning and we're going to look at the basics. So let's just focus directly just on the leads here. So the melody idea started with, I think was Massive. I think so. Let's just have a look there. Yeah, it started in Massive. And that is my Pluck Stars preset, which you can find on Facebook, my Facebook page in the free download section. I'll put the link in the description below there. Also, the whole idea came from not the title. The title came from the melody, if that makes sense. Let's just put something else a bit louder. So the idea came just from these two chords, so the G and the A. So if you see the G and the A, I've only done a 2-note chord. It's based on musical kind of knowledge. I only have basic knowledge of kind of music theory, like the chord structures and stuff like that. I don't go through blind, but kind of at the same time. I'm not totally clued up, if you know what I mean. I do more of it by ear. So if that was going to be a 3-note chord, I would suggest it was going to be a D. And you can add like a whole new feel to it. So the two chords here are where it started, and then it was kind of improvised from there, with the bass line doubling the bottom layer of the main chord structure. From there, what appeared was this, which was just kind of a very gentle breakdown of the main chord structure, which just added a little bit of character to the track. It actually took it in a direction that actually made me start the track properly. So as you can hear, with all of that layered up, it kind of sits across the board from very, very quiet and angelic to kind of right up there and happy and get up and dance sort of thing. So the whole melody idea has come from what I say is kind of my perception by ear. So there's no actual chord structure going on. I'm not sitting down thinking, right, I'm going to have to use a G in this one and then I'm going to have to move to an F. It's feeling the music. And that's what felt right at the time. I was inspired a little bit to get this track started, and then that's when I started recording. I think if you look back at part 1, I actually just had probably 8 bars just sat there, the idea, and that's where it started. So I didn't show the melody being created from the beginning. So yeah, that's kind of the first part of it. The second part is the sound shaping. So if we jump into the mixer and look at just the pink here. If you haven't watched the 8-part series of making a full trance track, the link is also in the description. You probably can see it on screen right now. But let's look at the first melody. So let's unsolo those. This is the first one. This is the Pluck Stars synth. And it's the shaping that gives it the characteristics. So I've taken the bass away. I don't want to hear the bass in this one. It's a bit of sidechain using kickstart. Just to get it going. It's kind of ended up staying as the main part of the track. Then I've taken just a few key frequencies out of there that I'm not too fussed about, because the other synths are kind of layer above it and take control of that section. But in this particular sound, I didn't like the resonance, like resonant frequencies that were coming through. Those ones. And there was talk on one of the comments, I think it was Vincent Knapp, if you're watching, hey dude, talking about just I was over compressing stuff a little bit too much instead of kind of letting the sounds roam free and then controlling them with a bus channel. So I did make some alterations on that before it got sent for mastering, and So it was just shaped a little bit just to keep it under control there. Just to give it a little bit of rain back. So as you can hear, that is kind of straightforward. It's got a bit of side chain on it and it's just pumping away there. Then if we move on to this one, we've got kind of more of a classic trance synth there, like a stack saw. Again, bit of side chain, bit of shaping. Now as you can see, I've boosted in this area because I want some of the frequencies to come out from that synth and replace the ones I took away from the first one. And then I've done quite a big dip there. Just with the whole sound together, it does sound alright. I do replace those kind of frequencies. Might have cut a little bit too low there, but I never claim to know everything. I'm happy to learn from other people, especially people that have had a lot more experience than me. And finally, we have a bit of compression on there just to control it ever so slightly. Some people might think, why have I bothered putting it on there? Then, where are we next in this part? Now, this was kind of a last minute idea. I just wanted to fill up some of the kind of the top end, just to add a little bit of sparkle to it. So you can hardly hear it, but it's there just in the mix. It was kind of a last addition. And that's it for that section. But if we listen to this one, melody support, you can hear there's a little bit of glitching going on. Now that's down to FabFilter Saturn. It's one of my favourite distortion plugins, as is the FabFilter series, because you can be very precise with it, but at the same time you can be quite rugged with it as well. So even though it's aimed at precision cutting and precision editing, you can really throw things about in there. So if we look at the mix here, it's not too high, just because I want it to be subtle. So if we just actually take that up, so you just get that little bit. Just have to make sure that will go back. I'll just make sure I don't save it. So it just gives it a little bit of movement, a little bit of stutter, so it kind of takes it off center a little bit. Again, cut a few frequencies out that I don't like. Just a couple, and just boosted up in the top end just to give it a bit of presence there. So that supports the main melody, but it gives... If we go to a section here, when you hear it popping, you can actually really hear just those few notes. Take them away, it's lost the emphasis. So that is exactly the same when it becomes like a chord sequence there. I just wanted to create that little bit of discordance there, just to break it away from the main free-flowing melody line. And then this is where the power comes from, and this is more of the substance of it. So just in the same way you layer a bass line up to get the kind of the subs, the lows, the mids, the high mids, and then the highs, I do the same with melodies. It depends on what you're trying to create, but this particular track I wanted to build quite a dynamic melody line and give it some real power in there. So with just one synth it's not going to give you that power, but with layered synths you're going to get a nice multitude of different timbres flowing through the mix. But it's all down to like kind of EQing. You've got to, if you're going to be cutting something, make sure you're replacing it with something else. And the best thing about it is there is no rules. It's experimentation. Compare it to mixes you like, compare it to like full productions out there, like proper release stuff. Just compare it to that and see like, why is it not sounding like that. But always take it with a pinch of salt, because obviously they've gone through mastering, etc, etc. So with the melody progressing, we also do have this that comes in just for this section. To boost the melody. Wherever the melody is, it's down here. which is based around a square lead. And then that particular synth then provides the main build. So you kind of get that real sense that something's going to happen, something's going to drop, and then... And I've done like a demo master version of this just so I can hear what it's going to sound like on the final product, and it sounds pretty awesome. And then it's kind of back into progressive trance. It starts building up again and bring the main elements in, but I bring them all in at once here. These are the three main elements that start at the beginning of the track. Bring the melody back in, like the top lead, and then everything gets thrown back in. So if we jump in, go to the bus channel, and on the leads, just take away what's added on there. You can hear how they sounded just with the processing that is happening over here. So if we take away the main power, which is the super saw, you've just lost that power straight away. We just bypass everything. You're just getting those frequencies, you're getting all the things that you don't want, and that's why kind of shaping is the main thing you've got to do. No rules. You've got to make it easy on the ears. You've got to know what's going to work and what's not going to, and the only way you can do that is by practicing. So if we put that back on, just on the bus channel we have sausage fattener, just to boost it up a little bit there. Multi-band compressor, more focused on these sections here. Just use some presets out of these separate compressor units there, and set it to about 61% mix, which gives it the original signal as well as the process signal. You don't want all the process signal in there, you're just going to make it sound really kind of blocky, and some people might like that, but I like to keep it more natural if possible. And then an overall kickstart, which is a bit more gentle on everything. Then just a few nitpickies, things that I'm not liking coming through, like there you can see there's a couple. And there's just a couple of resonant frequencies. And then once this decides to load, some overall compression, which I've used a glue preset, just tweaked it slightly, just to make the melodies all sit nicely together, and that's it. I don't think too much about it. I'll make sure the mix is well balanced and make sure things aren't clashing here and there, and then that really gives you a good stand for the mastering section. Because if you send a bad mix, it's going to come out bad. They can't fix your mix for you. You've got to send it good. So that's it. I hope that has kind of answered your question regarding the melody composition and the structure of it. So I wasn't really ready for the question, but you know, I'm just going to do it off the top of my head, which I've done. There's no script, it's just walking you through it. So if you did enjoy the video and you want to hear this track, leave me a comment, a like, follow me on Instagram. I post all of the latest things on there, and my Facebook page is where all the presets you can grab for free, and any of the free tracks I've done are downloadable too from Facebook, so get over there and like the page. And again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.